Welcome to chapter 5, beliefs. Now, beliefs are crazy. Like, beliefs are crazy. And you're kind of gonna, I'm sure literally by the end of this, you're gonna be like, wow, this is actually crazy. Now, beliefs aren't thoughts. They can be seen as what the subconscious mind has accepted as true. Now, beliefs are a compilation of thoughts laced with emotion and typically have existed in the mind for a long duration of time. You can also see beliefs as thoughts that you keep thinking that are specifically, once again, charged with emotion. From here on out, anytime that you hear me say thought for the rest of this program, just think that I'm saying emotionally charged thoughts because that's what I mean. We don't worry about the useless thoughts that have no emotion, they have no power. We focus on the ones that actually alter reality. Due to the consistency to which beliefs are consciously or unconsciously repeated, they are most likely what your reality is constructed of. Now, on that very first page, let me go back to it. You can see top left, once again, first Hermetic law, the universe is mental. That is part of your beliefs. Your mind is made from those beliefs. Here's the thing about beliefs. Beliefs are invisible to the self. You don't consciously see how they put you in different worlds. Now let's stop for a second and really think about this, because once again, you can extrapolate this. An easy way to gauge your beliefs is to state what you believe to be true about the world. What you deem to be correct is merely a belief hiding as a truth. Once again, I'm going to say that everything that you think to be true about your business, your potentiality of your business, the industry of your business and the limitations and the possibilities, there's no truths there. They're all beliefs. They are truths. Well, technically, they are beliefs masking as truths. They're pretending. And in the Hermetic philosophy, they say all truths are half truths. And the reason for that is, let's say there's two kids. They grow up in the exact same family structure, circumstances, in the exact same ghetto. Their neighbors go to the exact same school. You know, these people should actually practically end up the exact same. The one person believes there's no opportunities. They believe there's no opportunities here. You know, nobody wants to see me win. Everybody wants to see me suffer. Now, that's the universe that he lives in because of his beliefs. Then the other one believes that there's full of opportunities. You know, there's an abundance of opportunities. The world wants to see them win. That is what the universe gives them. Now, who is right and who's wrong? Like it says in the bottom right corner, both are true. And they're true because there is no truth in reality except what your subconscious mind has accepted as truth. And how many times do you say, you know, oh, this won't work for me. You know, I know it's true. That won't work. They're all beliefs. They're all beliefs. When it comes to beliefs, your beliefs fall into two categories: adopted and experienced. Now, your adopted beliefs are those beliefs given to you by others that don't really have much experience for you to validate them as fact or not. They come from the collective mind. So, for example, you know, to have the belief in your head that 90% of businesses fail, that is an adopted belief because that's not something that you've quantified and experienced yourself individually, but it is a statistic or a belief that comes from the collective mind. Now, thoughts that are adopted from the collective are powerful because their existence is laced with societal approval, which is a drug for the ego. There exists a pendulum. Now, they're, you know, in a book called Reality Transurfing, they're called pendulums. In the occult, they're called egregores. Whatever it is, it's just a spiritual entity. Now, that entity is feeding off you. And part of what sustains it is by keeping you in the collective mind. And I don't say that to be scary or anything like that, but it's just for you to understand why the collective hive mind is so powerful. And it's because the more people that remain within it, the more powerful it is. So when people attempt to break beyond it, it seeks to pull them back in. Now, if I was to come and say, you know, to the business, let's say business statisticians, and say, oh, 70% of businesses, you know, are successful, of course they'd be like, no, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And once again, this is the hive mind thinking. In the hive mind thinking, there is absolute truth. But one thing that you have to understand about reality is that there is no absolute truth, because each person will quantify their own experiences, everything that they've been through in reality, as truth. But They only experience it as truth because their subconscious mind has accepted it as true. Adopted beliefs, typically from the family, can be stuff about money, scarcity, false beliefs, and then expected destiny. You know, your parents might have wanted you to be a particular thing. You may be that thing, you may not be that thing. They might have particular beliefs about money, false beliefs about money. When it comes to business, you know, like I said, a belief, you know, could be that 90% of businesses fail. This method don't work. Oh, that strategy is not going to work. Oh, this is outdated. All of this, it's not true. It's just a belief. And I'm really getting passionate because you have to understand this. The easiest way to gauge your adopted belief is to find out either what your parents believe to be true or the commonly existing beliefs around your field. Secondly, we have experience beliefs. Now, experience beliefs are very, very dangerous. They are formulated from your personal experience. These type of beliefs are a lot more persistent because you have validated them and continue to validate them due to the ego boost you get from believing that you're right. So you try a certain method. Oh, see, I knew that wasn't going to work. Oh, I knew this wasn't going to work for me. You try to change something up. Oh, see, I knew it wasn't going to work. And clear as the example is women who say men are trash. Men are trash. That particular belief then is constructed from into reality, which means that they proceed to date trash men, which validates the belief that they have, sustaining it with emotional charge. And this kind of creates a reality loop where they think they're right. And technically they are right because they believe themselves to be right. A business example, like I said, might be the idea that something possibly couldn't work for you. This system couldn't work for me. Oh, hiring someone to take over wouldn't work for me. None of that shit is true. But it will be truth if the subconscious mind has accepted it as true. And you see business people, you know, they might be using a different method to you, a different strategy to you. They might have gone about their system differently to you and it works for them. And it's because their mind isn't so constrained by having one fixated point of belief. And here's something you have to understand. There are no business problems, only mental problems. I'm going to say that again. There are no business problems, only mental problems. I'm going to say that again. There are no business problems, only mental problems. These type of beliefs lead you into believing that you're right. The whole time, the beliefs are just using you for your energy. All beliefs which don't benefit you are merely there to control you. You have a particular number and goal. You want to hit that next level. All your beliefs must be in alignment to successfully manifesting that particular goal. And if it doesn't, they're just there to control you. They're going to make you think they're truths, but they're not. They're beliefs. They're cheating and tricking you. Now, when it comes to beliefs, there is a practice that I'd like for you to do. Number one, identify the beliefs around your desire that you've adopted from external figures. So, for example, mine could be something like, let me think. Just to give you an example, 90% of businesses fail. Right? That's one of them. You know, another one, most entrepreneurs never make it. Most entrepreneurs go broke. You know, all these type of different beliefs. Now, specifically around your field. So mine, for example, could be personal branding, self-productization and stuff like that. So mine could be, you know, you can't reach your specific person if you don't craft this type of message specifically like this or whatever, right? I'm just coming up with examples in my head, but you get my point. In the field that you're in, whatever your business is, there's a very, very common set of external beliefs that people have told you or you've heard about as wisdom, air quotes, but it's not wisdom. They are beliefs pretending to be truths. Secondly, identify your beliefs that you experience in your own reality and the ones that you use to justify that you're correct. See, I knew this wasn't going to work for me. See, oh, I know that wouldn't work for me. Once you find yourself getting into, I know I was right. See, that's when you kind of have to map down, what do you think you're right about in your field? What do you think is right? Do you think it's right that if you was to hire someone to take over, it wouldn't work for you? If you think you're right, then that is an experienced belief. Number three, identify which beliefs do not serve you. So how does the belief of entrepreneurs failing benefit you to any capacity? It doesn't. And finally, create 7 beliefs, there's that number again, which are helpful, benefit, or serve the fulfillment of your desire. Because it's all about constructing almost like a fortress of beliefs which all build up to the materialization of the reality that you want. That's what it's all about. I shall see you in chapter 6.